Well, hello everyone. Good early evening. It will be like for here on for Saturday night, early Sunday morning. And you see right here is I went ahead and do right here like drew a sketch right here using the pen right here, and basically using the blue and the black pen, and you went ahead and scanned this picture right here, but. This sketch right here will be based on like this was like a picture right here of me, and from what I can remember from yeah, that for how I would be sitting, if I were to be what you call maybe just curious about something, or maybe just looking at something. You have right here is where I have my legs and my feet, kind of you would say kind of, it's like a, if we want to call it maybe resting, so Indian style or something like that. But on the other hand, that you see right here, this right here will be example right here of me right here. And it's like have right here is like a example right here of smiling face, and then right here the way my hair looks. And I was also thinking about, yeah, my favorite color has been blue, since I was about 2 or 3, something like that. So that's why that, using any kind of a pen that used the blue ink right here, and then used a little bit of the black right here just to kind of highlight the pants, and as well as the jam I wear, that I would be wearing. And I know that like with any parents that they may say is to where they go ahead and buy their kids maybe some outfits, anything that maybe for that size. And you may warrant to where that, yeah, if I ever was into like what you call one of those superhero, or maybe the Ninja Turtles, or maybe the Smurfs or anything like that we may have seen a few times on the t-shirts. And like warrant to where that for any kind of pajama wear or anything like that, any type of a, if it's going to be jammies, or if it's going to be any type of a dress pants or anything like that. But any type of outfits, but suits or anything like that. But you see right here is talking about here for Tuition Made in USA. And I can remember that this was my class assignment from back, that would have been about back in 97, I think it was back in 1998, something like that. But if I can remember, I was in the 7th grade, and I can remember that they asked you to go home and look at a lot of the things around the house that were made, to make a list of anything that was made in the USA. So I can remember that one evening, that I can remember that I was at a doctor's appointment, but I can remember that yeah, the doctor's office. But I can remember that I remember I had forgotten to do the work. So I can remember that the teacher, it's like ask about, well, where's your classwork? But anyway, but you have right here is talk about, see, for Made in USA. I picked this set name right here, talk about for tuition. I could also maybe you found a few things also to use, for example, for like you made for in the USA. One of them could, I don't know, I may have a few things around that I could maybe use that for an example for Made in USA. So like maybe party cups, or maybe if it's going to be any type of cleaning, maybe cleaning supplies, or anything that is going to be, I don't know, that there may be a few things that we can maybe find around that it said that, like made in USA. So I know like maybe notebooks or calculators. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I'll have to check around and like for any calculators. But let's just say that on average, to where that yeah, use right here, tuition made in USA. So basically, that like with anybody, American citizen, is they might likely say is to where that really just to kind of, as of right now, let's just say that a lot of your research, what you call, is produced in the USA. So let's just say that if this was right here, me as a young age, if I were to be looking at that, as of right now, that taking care of my bills and expenses, and I know that most of us have seen from mathematical direct loans activities that I put together, talking about for how much it was borrowed and how much it has to come back. You had to pay back so much. And anybody that may think about is to where they may be dreaming about having a credit card to where they can spend all what they want and then not have to worry about paying back so much. Yeah, I guess you could say that that's not really a credit card. That's more like a gift card. So I guess there is a difference between a gift card and a credit card. Like any type of card or check or anything like that. And if anybody that may want to where that, yeah, like so far as for check wise, it's like, yeah, check is to where that's something that you've been wanting to do. Yep, well, check that I was able to do that. But I was able to do that to where that they accomplish that goal, and it's like for great success, and as well as for what was the next, now what was the next plan that you had in mind. But anyway, I know a lot of what I talk about is about math, and I'm sure anybody that may want to, or are you going to be doing anything about, maybe, I know I do a lot of, counting and as well as bill paying, but if anybody were to want to, or are you going to be maybe be getting back into the coloring book, activities, but, I know that a lot what I've been doing, of course, is related to like, class student, and then also to help other kids too, is to kind of be aware of knowing about, yeah, that, for if they wanted to, whenever they were about, maybe if they're going to be between 10 and 11 and maybe 12 years old, they want to go out and buy maybe a sweater or maybe a little outfit, that has like a glow in the dark, flag on it, and they may find something, real neat looking maybe at the store, and so they're going to go ahead and buy it, something special, for themselves, to be able to have, if they want to use it, maybe for their pajamas or anything like that. But on the other hand, that I don't know anybody that may want to where that we may go into stories to where that when we go to bed at night that we want to where that yeah, remember about maybe a night light that they used to have that used to glow with maybe your favorite colors, and maybe looking at the moon or anything like that. So we're like wanting to where that from activities I would put together, talk about for 2410 and 2430 it was, and I also thought about maybe doing one for 2450, but yeah, just take it one thing at a time and on your hand, and I know I stay pretty busy too. But you have right here is like for 100, this right here will be like I think there's an extra zero right there for like they'll be like for 1,000 or something like that. I think yeah, for 100,000, but I'm like, yeah, and then plus 400. So yeah, the way I would work this right here is like talk about for tuition made in USA and then plus. So thinking about is to where whenever I look at my work here, that I try to see for how far I can go to where I can remember that yeah, I used to save up a lot, and I used to always think as to where that do I think I'm going to be able to get that far, to where if I can maybe think of a scale between 1 and 49. I don't think I would be able to get to 49 because it just seems so impossible. Almost anything that we do that we try to do seems so impossible. Anything that you're maybe afraid of, anything that you're nervous about, anything what you call amazing just seems so impossible. But this right here seems impossible. You just try to manage, paying our bills, but think about us to anything that we're going to be doing. Yeah, anything that we may be concerned about, such as to where if it's going to be catching up with trying to pay off, any type of debt or anything like that, or any type of payments, of bill payments. So we warned to where that, yeah, that we might likely say is to where that, the pocket money that we had to work with. But let's just say that on average to where one thing that maybe could be made in the USA more likely would be is to where an idea that you can think about is to where is the plan is to where that, yeah, that how much money that you want to save, and all, as well as for for addition. If we just think about this right here to where that if we could collect a certain amount, and then just do a little bit of math work, and add about 4 more on top of that, and mainly concentrate on how much that we can add on top of what we have already. And we may be surprised about how much we come up with. So anybody that may be going around in their rooms and then be cleaning out, and then they may find a number of things, and they may not realize about how much they have until they actually look, and maybe in the fall if they see that besides the bills that they may have envelopes, envelopes, or maybe stamps, stamps that they may have around that they may not realize that they had around. So anyway, but so far as tuition made in USA, So I know I talk a lot about tuition, but then on the other hand, like with anybody, that whenever you're a kid, that you're thinking about as to where that especially on the 4th of July, especially on my birthday, like I mentioned a number of times. But this right here will be like a kind of like you say like a graphic designing idea symbol right here. So let's just say if I were to keep this in mind right here of an American flag, and let's just say by spring of 2018 of the year 2018 and thinking about as to where that this right here may look like just something that you just kind of did, just for fun. But then let's just say it's something like this, could be presented, for like something, for honors, such as to where that if you're able to succeed in the goals within the first 4 months. And I'm sure anybody that more likely says to where that knowing about what does reset mean, and anybody that may think about is to where usually with the stars right here is to where if you're able to solve a number of math problems within about the 10 minutes, all in a row, that it's like so solve a number of math problems all in a row, about maybe 4 or 5 math problems in a row within 10 minutes. You're like, way to go. So you're like, yeah, a number of math problems in a row, way to go. So it seems like to where, the amount, the more that maybe we're able to study and figure, and then to figure out the problem and then solve the problem all in a row. It just seems like to where that the problem gets fixed just a little bit quicker. So whenever I think about this, if this was right here was me sitting on the brown carpet, I guess you say the blue carpet, blue and brown, I would say the brown carpet because the way I drew this picture right here, if this was me right here, like if I were to be sitting right here and knowing about anybody were to take a picture of me, if I was like this right here, like Warren to where, yeah, that I could have maybe been watching TV, but then you're like Warren to where, well, I guess there is a big difference between watching TV and doing your homework, but on your hand, that I might also use this sketch right here I went and drew with the pen right here. Is this was right here was me right here, and anybody that more likely think about is to where it just won't happen. No kid between the age of maybe 15 months to maybe 2 years old is really gonna wanna what you call sit down and and then just look at maybe a few math problems and try to figure out a few math problems. And I know tell anybody here, was that made in USA to where that you were not always that type of a person to where you want to figure out maybe a few puzzle pieces, or if it's solve a few problems, you want to try to study something. You were a big electronics person, especially with the cell phones or iPods or your CD players. You were that, you may not have been that type of person to where you want to get on a calculator and just kind of look at it and try to figure out, how to solve a few problems within the amount of seconds. So when we buy a calculator at the store, or maybe a puzzle or some kind that's going to contain a number of buttons and maybe a number of pieces, that we may think about as to where that for how much time that we may spend on it, especially. So now part of this activity right here is basically knowing about it's like for Made in USA. So whenever I think about this, I'm also thinking about the American flag colors, because I know that around my birthday, anybody probably say, yeah, put on a little birthday hat right here, like for plus, because on your birthday you're supposed to be turning a year old, right? So you're like wanting to wear by the time I'm 32 and just throwing about it's like, yeah, for what more likely the math problem, I'm like, what could be twice the amount for what you start out with? So whenever you start about 3 different options about how to add up the savings and maybe how to manage it. And I'm sure anybody probably say that it all adds up quick, especially by the time you figure out a way of how to solve a puzzle. Then I'm sure it's going to add up pretty quick. But sometimes it may take a while. But on the other hand, too, I keep thinking about the positive sides to her is to think about is to try something creative, and it's like yeah, that money that if you made money on any tips or maybe salary pay or anything like that, so we may think that money is just going to disappear, but on the average to where that it seems like to where even though if the money's not there, that don't mean it's not going to be there. So that's usually the way I think about it. What does that mean? I'm like, that was just something that I just kind of assumed and figured out as to where that just because the money's not there, that don't mean it's not going to be. So anybody that may want to where that, yeah, that, money on a gift card, yeah, that just seems so impossible because it's not gonna be delivered. It's not gonna be received. But if anybody has ever heard that so-far called saying is to where never say never, but think about possible. It's like there may be some things that maybe we may not be able to do, and one of those is like for due to my learning disability, especially due to my disability. But on the other hand, there may be some things that maybe I am good at, to where that maybe somebody else that may say that they may be extremely curious about what is that maybe that something I may have, but I'm still trying to figure that out because there's quite a few other artists out there that may have their degree and maybe about the 10 or 15 years experience that I don't have. So I keep wondering to her, anybody that may be wondering to her, yeah, made in the USA, huh? I can, yeah, I'm like, but on your hand, that you're like wondering to where it, any type of talents that more likely that I may have is thinking about is to where you're putting together, like, say, a masterpiece right here is to where I show right here some examples right here. And these were like paper documents. My homework right here is to where, yeah, and then by the time that idea works, somebody else is maybe going to find out. It's like, hey, well, if your idea works, and then maybe that, your idea will be enough to be able to solve my situation to where that, yeah, that whenever I was about your age, that, yeah, I want to go ahead and do this activity right here to where I want to go ahead and solve a few math problems and be able to save up enough money just to be able to pay it back, especially on a credit card. So we wanted to where that, yeah, you say made in USA, and anybody that may say it's like if it's going to be anything that is related to maybe mortgages or anything like that, is to where that any borrowed money, but on your hand, anybody that may want to where that, yeah, besides borrow money, anything that's considered a gift. So you're like Warren to where that, yeah, you've been struggling with bills long enough to where that you're like Warren to where is the gift? Where are the prizes? So anybody that may say, especially on the day of your birthday, you may be warned to where you want to see the prizes. You don't want to see the loans. You don't want to see the bills. But on the other hand, that the way I think about it, usually that, what do people feel about is to where that after, you're used to paying back and you're used to paying bills long enough to where that they say is to where that, you don't have to pay that bill. You no longer have to pay this amount because it's already been taken care of. How do we feel about that? Do we usually feel as to where that any type of frustration or any type of aggravation that we may, that we may manage to where that this was right here was me though. Any frustration that I may have to where that people are moving ahead, that I feel like I'm running behind, or I feel like I can't, handle this on my own. So thinking about it is to where you get frustrated because you can't get something working. And usually, how do we feel when we get something working, huh? Well, how do we, what is the expression that we usually show is to where by the time we get something working and by the time that, we no longer have to pay the bill anymore, that's basically is to where that, yep, you only have two more to do and you're done. You can go ahead and do whatever you want, after you start a job, and then you can go ahead and manage, go to the, I guess if you want to call it, is to where now it's your next adventure. So if you want to call it like the adventure, to where that a job that we've had for about, yeah, that whenever you start working something and then these important tasks, but just think about it, to where there may be a time to where they may not be around forever either. So they may not be around forever. So thinking about it, to where that from all of our hard work, that more likely that we may think that's not going to be doing no good either. For all that hard work, but there may be some so far saying is to where, I don't know if we have to say it, but to where some of that hard work that may be paid in the long run. So think about as to where that really is to think positive about for anything that more likely that comes in the future too. So about the country is that thinking about it, like for election time, election day for 2016, and think about it as to where maybe by that time that I don't know, I may be halfway paid from the student loans or any type of a billing status that I had to take care of, but on their hand that they may say is to where that back when I was about this age right here, yeah, during that time there was I think Ronald Reagan who was president, but still I was too young to even understand about the whole meaning about politics. But let's just say the president were to get on TV and say that, hey, hey kids, yeah, I need your help to spread the word to where tell everybody to where go out and vote, vote for who you want to, for Proposition A or B, and as well as going out to vote, for president. So thinking about it, I can remember those announcements I even heard on the intercom about Made in USA, as to where that yeah that if it's the Star Spangled Banner, it's like, oh say can you see, and then but on your hand it's like I think there was other types of national anthems. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all. But on your hand, that this right here, I'm like anybody that may say about, do we remember doing a lot of that stuff in preschool and kindergarten? But on your hand, too, whenever I was about this age, I wanted to know maybe what $10 looked like, what $100 looked like. But nowadays, it seems like to where you're like, yeah, that you have about that amount of money now, but then it's like that's not going to be enough to pay back what all that was borrowed. But on your hand, it just seems like to where that, yeah, well, the money may not be there yet, but then it's like just do the math configuration and then update about what needs to be paid. I'm sure anybody probably say that this right here, this place where I was maybe sitting those years ago, whenever if this would have been my parents that would have taken this picture, this drawing that I went ahead and drew right here, this would have been right here as a photo. They likely weren't, to where that, yeah, is Matthew going to be pretty confident about, taking care of the bills and as well as paying for his own tuition, as well as if he does need any help especially. So like with any student that they may warrant, to where that back whenever you were young, that you were thinking about, there was a lot of things that it seemed like anything that you wanted to do, it seemed like you just had to manage the stuff on your own just to be able to, until people actually seen and realized that the whole story about what was really going on during their childhood, and especially on your birthday. And anybody that may warrant, to where especially on your birthday, is to where that they may think about is to where that's your special day. Yeah, you're turning a year older. Yeah, you get presents or anything like that. Special attention, and anybody that may warrant, to where any type of special attention that anybody probably say like, hey, yeah, whenever I was about 4 or 5, I gotten quite a bit of attention I can remember, but it seemed like I don't really get that, especially in the classroom. So anybody that may warrant, to where yeah, made in USA. Made in USA. I'm like, really? I'm like, there may be some things that may not be made in the USA that we may have here at home, but on the other hand, that just think about one thing to remember is knowing about really, this right here, this drawing right here, that this work right here that I know was what you call, it was my talent that was made in the USA. So the way I think about that's usually what I say, my talent made in the USA. So the way I think about it, though, is like really that for anybody that may warrant, where that there may be some things, of course, that produced in other countries, but on your hand, that really that for anybody that may be curious too to know about it. So I thinking about it. So yeah, the stars you got right here's the gold stars. So think about, yeah, each gold star that more likely may represent the credit. But I also keep thinking about as to where, yeah, by July, this year, and then off to next year, and then by 2018, and we wonder to where, yeah, by July 18th of 2025. So you're like Warren to where that yeah, the next 7 years, 7 years from now or so, that more likely is to where thinking about is to where that yeah, really people are going to look back at that and they're like, weren't to where anything, a lot of that stuff that we may call it, just so impossible. It's kind of, they say, wow, that is amazing about what was accomplished. They look back as to where that you from where it was started and think about as to where that anything that we may have thought was impossible, anything that we may have been dreamed about as to where that you want to have your own computer, you want to be able to draw a picture of yourself, you're sitting on the ground right here, and then having that look on your face like, yeah, what do I want to do if I want to watch TV or if I want to, take a nap or if I want to work on my schoolwork for an hour or some sort. So that's the way I think about it too. So I'm like, this may not, be necessarily look just like me, but this right here, if anybody would have asked me as to where that, yeah, that would have been me right there, maybe in the first or second grade. Second grade, they look back at that and you're like wondering, yeah, like you had problems with trying to figure out your math problems and you may have had problems, counting and then solving math problems and maybe, earning a teddy bear or two, or maybe if it was anything about, learning the frogs or anything like that, maybe earning a star or two, maybe being a part of the group, maybe the Boy Scouts or anything like that. But, it seems like to me it's like where something to keep in mind about Made in USA. So this was my class assignment from those years ago, but then also thinking about as to where that, yeah, that, if I were to be looking at this right here and just thinking about as to where that something that maybe I want to do especially is to where that actually hold a microphone. Like I even mentioned as to where that like to my parents it's like yeah to anybody that they may ask me as to where that yeah that whenever you were about maybe 1 or 2 you wanted to hold a microphone in your hand but for whatever reason whenever that microphone disappeared or whatever you were looking around for it. So I have a microphone around but it's like I keep wondering to where that yeah what was so meaningful about that microphone. I'm like, well, to get people's attention, maybe just to show it's like I want to sing through a microphone, such as says cha 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 cha. I can do this. So far as and I can do this, but or as it goes like I can do this. I can do this. But on your hand, if it goes like I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. It's like I can do this, but on the other hand, that I can remember that microphone too. I can remember it. It's like now since I got a little mobile phone that I can use, little Android, so Android phone, and I keep thinking about. It's like yeah, talk through that microphone and be like, say I can do this. Like I can do this. But on the other hand, that there you have right here is like top up for 1,000, and it goes to maybe up to 1,000,000 to plus 400 and plus 1 and 4 you'll equal to the see the 5 stars it is. So for this silver, if it's going to be silver or gold or maybe bronze. But other than that, tuition made in USA. The plus. Thanks for watching. Matt Me 25. Have a great day.